Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Yvonne and you have landed on Ginger Chick Rehab, where I love to go out into the wild hunting for items to not only resell or add home decor into my own house, but also to make over and share with you the process on here on the channel. And one of the pieces I'm making over today, I didn't have to travel very far because it was in my own house. So I'm going to share with you, I once did not know what the heck I was doing when I was painting furniture, so I'm going to share what I've learned on that piece. So I'm sure right off the bat you can guess which piece it is. Of course, the painted piece. I love these little chimney covers, these little side cupboards, these little jelly cupboards, whatever you want to call them. They are just a nice size and they usually are a quick sell. So I found this one at a garage sale. That pine, oh, those knots can be scary. And then I think probably 15 years ago, way before I ever thought about doing a YouTube channel, I painted this piece. I did not use the right paint. I did not know how to hide and prime well those knots, because you can see what knots do through white paint. I hope that I know more now. So I'm going to start off with the unpainted piece first, and I now know that I should protect my backs. I know that if you watch my channel long enough, I talk about that, but I didn't know that then, that, you know, especially when you're selling furniture, even when you're doing it yourself, it's nice to have a clean area. So just taking the time to tape off, so when you do go to paint, if you get a little bit on the back, it's just easily to remove because you have tape on it. And then there are a few of the staples that are protruding out, so I'm just going to hit them with a hammer and knock them down. Of course, I didn't notice that until I put the tape on. So these are all things I did not do to that first piece, when that painted piece, when I was working on it. Even the next step, I did not do the next step, and I usually always do this step unless it cannot be removed. Yes, I am removing the hardware, removing those hinges. Now that I have that door removed, oh, I can see that the door had been bent, maybe too far, or the door had been dropped. I'm not really sure, but we got some crackage going on, and it looks like they tried to nail it. They knew that something had happened. Either it's already been glued down or they just nailed it. I'm not really sure, but it's on there, so no big deal. So all I'm going to do is smooth out that area. It's raised, it's bumpy, it's like could definitely cut you, give you a sliver. So we'll just get it sanded down smooth, and then I'll go ahead and fill in that crack with some wood filler. So this is not like it's an extreme fix by any means. So just fingering it in there, just make sure that you don't see that crack, and then just taking some sandpaper once it's dry, and then just smoothing it out. Now the inside of this is in perfect shape. I don't see any reason to paint the inside, so I'm going to go ahead and tape off any areas that I know when I am painting it I might touch with my brush and I don't want to, so I'll just take the time to tape off those areas. Now that I have that part of the prep work done, I'm going to head and get the whole piece washed off. I'm going to end up doing this a dark color, so I'm not going to prime this piece. There's no reason for me to use any shellac to cover up on those the knot holes, the knotted areas that would normally bleed through a white paint. So that's all I'm going to be doing, is just getting it cleaned up, and I just have a bucket of Dawn dish soap, the blue kind, and hot water, and that seems to be a great degreaser, a great prep for your paint. So just recently I had started playing with mixing Sweet Pickens milk paint together. And I actually had bought a piece, a similar piece, that was the same type of cover, though it had screening in it that was a teal color, and it sold quickly. So I'm going to mix Sweet Pickens Basil in with Sweet Pickens Ocean to make a slight teal color. It won't be like, it'll probably be more green than blue, but it's fun to mix these paints. Not only is it fun to mix the colors, it is a nice way to create a individual color, a unique color. You know, once you get it mixed, you can kind of see the color it's going to be. And if you want to add a little bit more of the green, or you want to add a little bit more of the blue, or you're like, I'm going to throw some brown in there to tone it down. I mean, the fun with the powder paint is, yeah, you can mix wet paint too, but there's just something about mixing this powder paint to create your own unique color that I absolutely love doing. When you mix up milk paint, it's supposed to be a ratio of equal part powder, equal part water. And I always think that I'm doing that, or sometimes I add a little too much water, or I got more powder for whatever reason. So I will just take a mister bottle to help me. You can really feel like if the paint's a little bit dry, just mist it. It's perfectly fine. It will help it glide a little bit better when you're painting on it. It's water-based, so it is not going to hurt a thing, but just a mist, not a drenching, just a mist. So there's a lot of people out there that enjoy watching people paint. So feel free to fast forward through that part if you'd like. But now I'm on to the door. And so the inside of the door, I'm going to go ahead and tape off. I'm not going to paint the entire door itself either, just that front part. So we'll take the time to tape that off also. So now that this is raw wood, I'm not expecting to get a lot of chippiness or crazing or crackling because I know the paint is just going to soak in that raw wood, and I'm okay with that. I wasn't really going for an overly chippy look on this newer pine piece by any means. But I am going to go ahead and do a second coat. Now you can tell milk paint, it's not that even coverage. You're going to see dark spots, you're going to see light spots. It's just the way that it dries, it's just the way that it takes. And I'm just going to proceed on. I'm not going to worry about those spots. I'm just stating this just in case you're like, oh my gosh, that paint job is so even. There is nothing even about milk paint. So if you like that perfectly perfect, it may not be the paint for you. But if you like the perfectly imperfect like I do, then this will be your jam. So the first layer really is soaked in, is really not going to crack or crazy. The second coat might, you just never know. So I'm taking a heat gun to it and you can start to see bubbling. Bubbling is kind of scary, but bubbling means it will crack, and that I want the aged look. So yeah, it's kind of scary at first that time you see that bubbling when you add a heat gun to it. I can't say that it'll do that. I don't know if it'll do that if you just let it air dry, because I'm always impatient for paint to dry and I'm always using the heat gun. But the one thing that I do notice now that I've been using milk paint long enough is like where the dark spots are on the milk paint is usually where I might get some crazing, some crackling, some chippiness. But here on the doors where I will share with you, yes, see, it's not an even paint job. So it could be scary to some of them, that some people that just think, "Oh, I need to add more paint. It's light and it's dark and it's not perfect. It's okay." But look at once I start sanding it, look at how it changes. Don't get nervous. So I just have some 220 sandpaper. I'm not pushing down. I'm not trying to like get all the paint to go away. I'm just pushing down to have it distressed, have it soften up, have it taste some of that chippiness off that has chipped. And I'll tell you, once you've sanded milk paint, the smooth factor, oh my gosh, is it so smooth. Now, milk paint needs to be sealed in, and it's a personal preference what you want to seal it in with. And a lot of times I will do the black wax. So I'm using Fusion. Fusion has an awesome wax, y'all. You can get that at the Painted Heirloom. If you have never ordered from Vonda's store, the Painted Heirloom, she does offer a discount code for 10% off, and it's down in my description box. Please feel free to use it. This wax is amazing. It's nice and creamy, and it just takes that milk paint to the next level. And I love the dark spots it did on the chippiness. That is what I'm looking for. I want to add age to the piece. So it's a wax on and a wipe off the excess and really get it rubbed in, and it takes that already smooth paint job even smoother. I really wish that y'all could touch and feel some of my pieces that I finish off this way. Oh, they're just amazing. Sometimes I'll walk into my booth and I'll see people just touching our pieces of furniture. I mean, not necessarily, I do it on littles too. It's not necessarily always furniture, but I just love, because when a paint ages over time, that's what it does. It doesn't always stay pristine. It chips, and it, because it got hot and it cold and it got wet and it got bumped and bruised, and it's just the story a piece could tell. So really, I'm trying to add a story by aging a piece. And then this is where it is worth the time. Look at that line, look at the line. And you would think just cheap masking tape, it does work. It's way worth the time. So now it's time to get this back together. I love that color. It's probably a little bit more green than it is blue. And then I noticed that what you didn't notice before the door was painted, I think the door has a little bit of warping, but yet again, that's character. I'm not going to straighten out a warped door, especially I sell these for about $125, y'all. So it is what it is. It's that perfectly imperfect of a piece. I think this piece of hardware is just fine anyway. Not so much a fan of the knob. We'll get that changed out to match the hardware. believe the hardware is supposed to look like an old porcelain knob, but it's not. It's just hard plastic that is yellowed. So we're going to go ahead and change that out. And I do have this knob. I have a stash of knobs. Though it's not an exact match, it's way closer than what that plastic piece was. And now when I remove the tape off the door and the tape off the back, there's pretty much a clean line. I may not have like pushed an area down and it may have a little spot or something, but I always go back and sand because the paint leaves a hard, crusty edge that you will feel. You don't want that really soft piece and then all of a sudden you have this hard built up of plastic. See, there's a little oozing there and a little leftover tape. Yeah, you just want to make sure you get all those areas cleaned off. Yep, get that tape off. Oh, sometimes that tape gets stuck and you have to work on it. Anyway, but yes, get that sanded so it's nice and smooth. Way that the knob was put on, it was a screw in just the front, so the hole didn't go all the way through the door. So now that I have the inside of the door cleaned off, I can go ahead and drill a new hole so I can put the new hardware on. That I've shown you how to paint a piece the right way, let me deconstruct this piece that I didn't necessarily paint the right way right from the get-go of using the wrong type of paint. But let's see if we can fix it. I told y'all I didn't tape off the back. Look at that dirty backside. Though I'm going to go ahead and tape it off. I can sand it off. I'm not worried about that. I just want to make sure that I'm protecting it now. We learn from our mistakes. We all have to be new at some point of our lives. We can't be born with all the knowledge of what to do right off the bat. If you are, then you're a very lucky person. And now I have to open the doors and show y'all too. Oh no, oh no, yeah. Yeah. Nope, didn't tape off the door either. I'm pretty sure I probably even painted this right in my house where it laid, where it stood. And so, yeah, we learn, y'all. I didn't know that I should remove the hardware first. My hardware's got some paint on it. Luckily, hot water will take that off. But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to take the hardware off first. So now it's time to sand, and you could use a stripper. We don't have running water in our shop, and I don't like to mess with strippers if I don't have to. This only has one layer of paint, a couple coats, I'm pretty sure, to sand off. So I'm just going to go ahead and sand it off. It was an original color underneath, but it was pine furniture, so then that paint soaked in, and I could tell right off the bat. I'm like, oh, it's almost just peeling right off. So I knew right away what the shininess and all the brush strokes. I don't know if you could see all the brush strokes, but I knew, like, I used probably exterior. I didn't know the difference between interior and exterior 15 years ago. I didn't, y'all. I didn't know. So it was really shiny, or maybe it wasn't exterior. It was just a gloss versus a semi-gloss versus a satin versus an eggshell versus a flat. They didn't have chalk paint that I knew of 15 years ago. You know, it's amazing how everything has changed. I always loved to paint pieces. I always loved to find things secondhand. It's always been my passion. It's just funny how we become better with time, how our knowledge grows. Can you see that paint just a flying? Oh, did I have a mess. Now our sander is hooked up to a vacuum system, but it was just peeling that paint off like it was just a hard-boiled egg. I don't really know, but I just could not believe how that paint, I mean, I guess probably if I really tried, I could have just pulled a piece and pulled it right off with my finger. So yeah, that might have seemed like a lot of sanding, but really the paint came off easily. So apparently this was burgundy. I could tell by the inside. So like the inside, I'm not going to try to sand. I sanded all any of the paint off of where, yet again, I didn't tape off the shelves and they were just kind of a mess. Must have been a dark area of our old house that I never really noticed how bad of a paint job it was. Because, yeah, anyway. So I'm just trying to blow out the inside, get any of that chippiness, you know, all the little layers of paint, so I can get it all cleaned up. So same thing, just Dawn dish soap. I am going to paint the inside of this, though I'm not going to paint it the same color as what the exterior is, because I really hate brush painting the inside of cubbies like this. I'd rather spray them if I can. I put that on a rolling cart, I rolled it into our spray room. Yes, our spray room is done that we can start using it. So I'm just using Rust-Oleum's enamel paint. It's fine for metals, woods, plastics, resins, what have you. I'm just doing your basic flat black because black tends to go with a lot of colors. So yes, the back side is like a wood, but if I would have taken the wood off, then, you know, there's all that. Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to know about about what you can get for a piece and how much work you need to put into the piece. But I do know that I needed to cover up the inside, especially where I had to sand off my bad paint job. So now that my inside is spray painted, I can let that dry and I can start sanding on these doors. Can you see the brush strokes, you guys? Can you see the badly painted sides and how I painted around hinges? I should be embarrassed, but I'm not going to be. I'm going to know how to paint over it. I'm going to know how to fix it. Yeah, I think that I should show you. I really do. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, how the heck am I going to sand the paint off these little blackout woods that keep the doors shut? So luckily Chris has one of these type of sanders, and I'm like, I think that if I hold it nice and tight and keep my fingers away, I should be able to get that paint sanded off those. Now, isn't it funny how things come back around? That cupboard was originally burgundy, and then I painted it white, and now I'm kind of going back to a red shade. I love cherry pie from the first time I used it, so that's the color I'm going back to. Though, you probably think, oh, you probably didn't need to paint the inside, but it probably would not have been the same color of burgundy by any means. And colors have been selling really well on furniture pieces for me right now. Well, smaller pieces have been selling, so that's what I have been keeping my eye out for. Not like end tables or anything like that, like little cupboards, little rolling islands, you know, little, yeah. So I can't say that all little pieces of furniture are selling. I'm just trying to look for storage pieces, but it is funny how I'm kind of making this back to that burgundy-ish color. But if I were to be making this a lighter color like the white, I would have need to have done a couple coats of shellac. So the shellac spray, or shellac, I usually use a lot of the spray than the tub of it, the can of it. I would have used that to then seal in where all those knotty pine, where you could see that bleed through. So if you wanted to make a piece that way, and I'm sure you've seen furniture pieces that I've done that I've used shellac to prevent bleed through from happening, but I didn't know about that product 15 years ago. Milk paint is very unpredictable. What cracked and crazed and chipped off on the other piece, I didn't get a single spot on this piece. So that's okay. It's okay. So I've just got 220 sandpaper. I'm going back in and sanding. I'm distressing. Now, I didn't get every little piece of the white off, so probably where any of that white latex paint was, it's probably going to chip right off of that, but it's character. It's the painting of the painting over a painted piece, and it's the story, so I'm not going to worry about that. It will all tie in together. So are y'all just excited as I am to see what this black wax does to the cherry pie? Oh, love it. Love it. Look at how it just riches that, and that really uneven texture that you see in the paint, that perfectly imperfect that you see, just all kind of ties in and just makes it look like this piece has been painted for years upon years, this color. Before putting back on the hardware, I got to get that paint off. It's not like I painted the whole thing. I just painted pieces. Just hot water, especially with this latex paint. Let them soak for a little bit and it'll just scrape right off. Original piece had painted wood knobs that have been badly painted, so I'm not spending the time cleaning those up. But I do have these beautiful aged white knobs. The chippiness on them, the white will go with any of the white that may be showing through from the original latex. That's what I said, I can get it all just to tie in together. So thank you so much for watching today's video. And no, we all just can't start off in life being an expert. You have to learn, you have to evolve in what you do. Yes, I had no idea that there was a product, shellac, that could hide those knots. I shouldn't use latex paint on furniture. Boy, I could have just probably peeled that off. Yes, and then just taste is personal. The distressed look, apparently I had always liked the distressed look, because I can't even tell you 10, 15 years ago, I probably painted that piece of furniture well before I ever thought about starting a YouTube channel. So give me a quick comment down below. What do you think of the colors? Colors have been selling really well in my booth. So I'm gonna keep on doing it, and that distressed aged look. And I really wish I had feel-o-vision so you guys could feel, even though it looks chippy and aged, and that patina is just amazing. It's just so soft between the milk paint and the sanding and the waxes. Oh, be still my heart. It's just amazing. So let me know down in the comments below. Have you watched yourself evolve in what you've been doing in your, if you paint, you don't even have to paint for resale, just what you do for yourself. So give me a quick comment down below. Do you like the colors, or am I having a lot of fun with colors? Oh my goodness, and just mixing colors to make whatever color you want is fun too. So thanks for watching today's video. As always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this content and you are not part of the YouTube family, smash that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we uploaded a new video, and we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.